Let me pull this over. If you want to follow along in the slide deck, you can. There's a link up at the top, and if it doesn't work for some reason, let me know. You should be able to see the slide deck. Everything inside of there should be clickable. And if I need to, I can copy paste into the chat for you, but you should be able to click on anything from there. We're going to use the breakout rooms a couple times today to work in some small groups and have some discussions and then share that information back. So be prepared to do that. Have you guys done that yet today? Have you been in any of the breakout rooms or anything? Okay, cool. Well, we'll try it out today. So if you're patient with me, I'll be patient with you. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for a second here. And I'm gonna hop over to the presentation. Oops, there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and, so a little trick, I'll show you guys a little trick. In case you're ever in a presentation and you don't, when you're presenting, you might not want to, oh, hold on a second. Maybe, should I get rid of that? Probably, huh? Can I minimize it? Okay, there we go, perfect. So if you're ever in a presentation and you would like to give the presentation and you want to be able to scroll through it and not have to go in and out of your slide deck and see all of these small little slides on the side, if you look up in the top of your toolbar and you'll find where it says edit, and if you highlight the word edit and you change it to preview, it gives you basically a presentation mode that looks just like this, and you can scroll through your slides and you can jump back and forth through your tabs, and it doesn't look quite as drastic with the little slides on the side. Anyways, that's a great way if you want to share something but you don't want the slide view and you don't want to be in present mode. It's called preview. Little tidbit for today. So I'm going to back up for a second. My name is Deanna Horsens, and I teach 3rd grade at Florence Carleton Schools. I also help out with some of their G Suite implementation and instructional technology. And I've been there almost, I think I've been there 10 years now. Before that, I was in other places in California and Montana, but I am a Montana native, so we had to come back home many years ago. And that's where we ended up. So my family and I just came back from a year. When I say just, actually, I'm lying. It was a half a year ago. It was in January that we returned. We were gone for 1 full year in New Zealand. I was teaching and my husband was working at a rescue helicopter base. And we spent the year learning about school and education and just touring the country and riding our bikes and paddling and kayaking. And it was a really awesome experience to live in another, just a whole nother idea of living. And it was very laid back and very comfortable. And kids only went to school from 9 to 3, and even about through year 8, which is close to 8th grade, 7th grade. They all still had recesses and lunches, and it's just a lot more laid back. Kids didn't actually wear shoes. My kids really missed that. I have a son, Andrew, who's now 15. This picture's a year old. And then my son, Ethan, who is almost 14. And they didn't have to wear shoes for a year at school or in the grocery stores or anywhere. So that was one exciting thing that they remember most about our time there. And the food was amazing. Lots of Thai food, Chinese food. So that's just a little bit about me and where I've been the last year. And let's look at some formative assessment that we can use in our classroom, whether we are remote or in the building. And there's a couple different ways, obviously, to get information from students, and polling is one of those ways. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a poll. We're going to use a platform called WooClap. I'm going to give you a code. This is just so you have the information about WooClap. And what you can do right here is you can go ahead and grab your camera and you can scan that code. Or if you'd rather, you can copy the link right here and you can, oh, I guess it's not going to let you copy it. I might have to go back. You can put that in the web browser up in your Omnibox, and you can jump over to WooClap. I'm going to hop over there. Actually, maybe I'll throw this in the chat for you real quick. And let's see. Message. WooClap.com. And hop over there. I'm going to go ahead and jump over on my screen so you can see what this looks like once we get in. So the thing I want you to think about here is what comes to mind when you hear the word assessment. Go ahead and share with us, what is it that comes to mind? Oh, test, that's a good one. High stakes, information gathering. And you can put in several. You can put in as three of these if you'd like to. Oh, I like that. Yep. Data, summative, knowledge, help with online assessments, accountability. These are all really great. So not only are we kind of talking about assessments here, but we're also practicing with this really fun free tool that you can use with your students to poll them. And this might not be something that you would use basically, obviously, for individual students, but just to get an idea of where your class is at, maybe on a topic. These are all awesome. I think we might be almost done. A few more people sticking some things in there. Monitoring, that's a good one. And you'll notice that test is obviously the largest one in the center. That's the one that was put in most. So you can kind of see where people are at with their answers. Cool. So that's just a little bit about how you can use WooClap. It's a fun new one. There's also, some of you may have heard of Mentimeter. You may have even used it. There's another one. We're going to jump back over here to Poll Everywhere. Now, don't jump right into this link. This link is just here for you to have as a resource when we're done. But Poll Everywhere works a lot like Mentimeter, except that you can actually put it into a Google slide. Okay, so you can create your slide deck and maybe you're presenting with your students and you want to throw a poll in there. So I did that with our slide deck here today. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, after we do this, how you can add this to your oh, here I'm not in present. Hold on, we're gonna have to hop back over here for a second. I keep trying to move this toolbar at the top. I'm not sure if I can grab it and slide it. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, that's nice. Whew. See, I'm learning. I don't use Zoom much. I use Google Meets. So I'm gonna hop over to Mentimeter. And basically, this is where you would create this. I'm gonna fix this because apparently I have 3 of these in edit mode or in, hold on a second. And I need to show you because in order to actually use the poll everywhere, you do have to be in preview, or I'm sorry, in presentation mode. So go ahead and go to poll everywhere. I feel like I'm missing a slide here. Let me see.
And I put the link for poll everywhere in the chat so everybody can.
Oh, thank you. So it's poll. Oh, I was going to do that, but you are on it. Thank you so much. So the poll everywhere is Sweet Socks 321. While you guys hop over there, I'm going to leave this up for a second. I thought I had one more. I'm going to take this out of preview mode. I don't know if it'll let me actually go backwards. I've never done it before. Here, maybe I'll just open it up again. Hold on, I'm going to slap my drive in your face. Sorry. And grab my deck so I can show you what it looks like when you actually present it. Just a second. Oh, there we go. Okay. So when you actually create your poll and so I'm in Google Slides right now. And if I wanted to put a poll in here, I'm going to show you real quick, and then I'll pull up your poll that we're going to do. All I would have to do is I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter to make a new slide for you. All right. And then in my new slide, so I have what's an add-on, and I'll show you how to do that. But if you go up to the top on your toolbar, there's a little button for add-ons. And if you click on add-ons, you can go down to the bottom and get add-ons. This is where you would get poll everywhere. I already have it in here. Do I? What the heck? I might be in another account. This is really... Oh no, that's slides poll, but it does the same thing. Okay, so I'm working in 2 accounts here. Sorry, I'm working in my school and my private. You probably are gonna run into that all day with presenters because in order to do this, I had to be in my school account or my private account, but then in order to do the, hold on a second here. I'm gonna get out of here. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like from this account. Okay, so I'm in my slides and I have an empty slide. I go up to add-ons and I'm going to grab, why is it not in this account? I think I'm going crazy. Let's see, let me try my extension. See if that works. Nope. Okay, well, it works because I did it this morning, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on here because I double checked it all. If I hop into present mode, you should be able to see your slide. This is crazy. I swear it works. I do this all the time, honestly. Okay, so what comes to mind when you're not that one? That's not the one we're on. It's the next. Should formative assess? Oh, here we go. That's why. Let's try again because I didn't have it turned on. All right, let's hop back over here. Let's try again. If I hit present. Nope, no dice. We'll try one more time. Wonder why it's not working. This is crazy. I might have to come back to this one after one of our breaks. I'm not going to keep fighting with it. Okay, I'll come back to that one. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to skip that one and we're going to move on to Jamboard. So has anyone used Jamboard? Go ahead and show of hands if you have. This is a really, really awesome way to have exit tickets or do some brainstorming. And I am going to actually grab, I should have had all these copy pasted for your chat, I guess, because you don't have access to, I'm going to fix this here. I'm wondering, do you guys have access to the actual slide deck or only the preview? Can someone throw that in the chat for me? Are you able to get to these links? Okay, so it is working. They are able to get in there. Okay. This is the hard part about, okay, you actually got the slide deck. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna jump over to Jamboard really quick and I'm gonna see how many of you are there. We've got 2 boards that perfect. Okay, we have a couple people joining. So Jamboard is very, very similar to Google Slides. It actually is like a slide deck of sorts. The cool thing is that it's also a whiteboard. And so once you get in here, I've left you 2 boards and I put 2 examples on each of these. The first board, I wanted you to go ahead and grab a Post-it note, and you'll see them over on the left are all your tools. I'm not going to really do, it's pretty simple. So you're just going to go ahead and grab yourself a Post-it note and slap it anywhere on the page. You can change the size and the color. And I want you to share some examples of how you assess your students. I mean, there's so many ways to assess students that don't require a paper and a pencil, obviously. And because we have so many different subject areas and levels between kindergarten through 12th, there might even be some college professors. I don't think there's any here today, but there might be some people from the university here. So go ahead and share with us by creating, and I'm hoping, can you guys, it says view only. It shouldn't. Put in a link. Okay. Let's see. Hold on a second here. You should be able to, hold on a second. Anyone on the internet should be able to use this link. So let me just zip back to the chat really quick. I'll paste it in there. Try that, see if that works for you. I'll leave that open on the side so I can paste my links in. Oh, that'll be way easier. Maybe this will work. Try that. Oh yeah, you have to be logged into Google. Was that not in my session notes? Because I left that. They had to have a Google account. You should be able to. Let me see. I just got kicked out. There. Does it work when I put it in the chat? Crickets.
Let's see. So the link that we have in the chat is the one to your slide deck.
The Jamboard, I just threw a Jamboard one in. Or wait, it went to somebody who messaged me privately?
Yeah, there's no link in the.
So how does this work when someone puts in to send a chat to everyone? Okay, here, let's try again. Let's try again. See if that works. Will that one work?
Yep, there's a link there now.
Okay, okay. So down at the bottom, oh, I didn't know you could message privately inside of Zoom. Okay, now we're back on track. You guys will be my class that teaches me everything I didn't know. So, okay, let's see. Let's try that. We'll see if that works. And we'll see if people can hop into our Jamboard. There's a few people in there already. And the link should be, it still says view only. It says here that anyone on the internet can view. Let's try again. That's so weird. I'll do it one more time.
You got it on view only.
Oh, I must have bumped it. Okay, let's try something else here.
I think you need to change it from viewer to editor. On the right-hand side where it says viewer.
Sorry. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. So now let's try. Now see if you can get in.
It looked like that worked.
Is that it? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I've never had that happen
Thank you.
before. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
What people need to do is refresh their screen and it'll come back right.
Okay, thanks. Perfect. Okay, I'll leave the chat right here on the side so that I can throw the links in there. That'll work better. There we go. And you can move them around if you want to. I just slid somebody off so you could see that it's not over the top of the other. There you go. Okay, perfect. Now it's working. Phew. There we go. These are all really great ideas. Performance tasks, reflection writing, sticky notes on the way out. And then if you are remote, you could always use something like Jamboard for your sticky notes. A lot of us used to use Padlet, and then Padlet actually started charging. So this is a really good alternative to Padlet. It's not quite as organized, but you can still get the sticky note options on there. There we go. Looks like some of you are already using Jamboard. That's awesome. Cool. As soon as you finish this one, up at the top, you'll see there is all of our boards are up here. I only have 2 boards. And so if you want to hop over to the second board, okay, when you're done throwing in an idea of how, sharing with us how you assess your students, you can hop on over to the second board and you can share with us how you might use Jamboard in your classroom. And maybe if you want to put your grade level in there, you can, so that we can see. I didn't do that on mine, but I can edit it. All you have to do is double click on it, by the way, or just click up in the top right-hand corner if you'd like to edit your post-it note. Awesome. Yes, this would be a very great way to use as a whiteboard app. You could use it to solve math problems. And if you have those math problems ahead of time, you can insert those pictures on the boards for the students and they just pop into the Jamboard, and you share the Jamboard just like you would share a doc or a slide or a sheet like I did today. But if you want them to be working in it, make sure it says edit. Usually it defaults to edit whenever I've used it. So that's the first time that it did that to me, and I may have bumped it for some reason, but make sure that you either have a view only or an edit. You can share it and ask them to make a copy as well. If you want to assign it into Google Classroom, you could have it be view only, but then they can make a copy once they get it. That would work great. There isn't a way at this point to assign a Jamboard in Google Classroom like you do your other assignments in terms of giving every student a copy. That's not an option yet, but you can share the one link with them. Great ideas. Mind mapping, math problems, sharing links. I've had several teachers in other sessions offer up ideas about brainstorming for projects. And yeah, go ahead and play around with it while we're in here. And maybe getting all of the resources ready before they do some kind of an animal report. One teacher recommended one time she would do that. Yes, and mess around with these tools over here. So every single one of you that has a Google account has Jamboard accessible to you. It's actually saved like your other things that are in Google Drive. All you have to do is go up into the top of your Omnibox and type in jamboard.google.com, and it's going to take you to all of your Jamboards. So if you want to hop out of this for a second and just open a new tab and type in jamboard.google.com, this board will probably show up in your Jamboards because it's one that's been shared with you. So if I go out of this to a new tab, it's going to show me my jams or my boards, whatever you want to call them. And here I have the Untitled one that we used today. I did play Hangman with my 3rd graders during remote learning this last year. And so I had this up on the screen, kind of like we're presenting now. And then students would raise their hand or put in the chat when it was their turn to pick a letter. And then we would either draw a part on the hangman. This is obviously just a social emotional activity, and this isn't even, it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but then I would just go ahead and like cross off the letter when we were done with it. And then we played a couple games of hangman. They really liked it. So it was a really good alternative to a whiteboard inside of your Google Meet if you're having those with your students.
Deanna, a few people are having some issues accessing Jamboard. Is this something that it's an add-on that you need to add?
Nope. So probably they are not logged into Google Chrome and logged into their Google account.
Okay.
If you're logged into Google, you should be able to access it. And it doesn't matter what kind of an account you have, unless your school, if you're in your school account, they may have blocked this, which I don't know why they would, but that would be the only reason I would think that you couldn't get into it, other than you weren't logged into a Google account.
Okay.
So, so Terry, you might want to ask your admin if they'll open that up for you to play around with it. Yeah, and if it has student settings, it might not be letting you in. That's a bummer, but you did get to see it, so you can always come back to it. Definitely talk to them, your Google admin. Okay, next, we're gonna move on to some quiz games. So, one of my favorite apps is called Quizzes, and I have a quiz for you today to try this out. If you have Google Classroom, this will sync and link to your Google Classroom, and you can create quizzes, or you can borrow quizzes, you can copy quizzes. You don't have to make everything. If you're looking for something, it's probably already in there for quizzes. I remember when I was teaching 6th grade science, I could go in and my actual like chapters and lessons and units, somebody had already made all of those quizzes, and I could just copy them and use them and give them to my students. So I'm gonna have you join today. So go ahead and click on joinmyquiz.com. And I'm gonna go ahead and copy really quick this code. I'm gonna type it in. Sorry, that would be faster. 76676. That's gonna be your code. And if you didn't get the link before, it's joinmyquiz.com. On it. I don't know if it's gonna make it a link. But if you hop over to quizzes, you can, and I'm going to go over there right now to quizzes live. There you are, populating into our quiz game. Now you can assign these quizzes and students can take them. I'm going to turn this down a tiny bit. You can assign these quizzes and students can take them on their own individually at any time, or you can do these quizzes all together like you would do a Kahoot if you wanted to do them while you're in the classroom. But we're about to find out who are our 80s movie buffs. I'm pretty sure that's what we did today. So this is really fun. I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes because we've got a few people slowly getting in here. Looks like we have 21. Angel, do you remember how many are on our session?
Right now we have about 27 people.
Okay, we'll wait till there's just a little bit of a lull. It's kind of like when you make popcorn and it's at the end when it's not popping as often. But we still have a couple people. Oh, Daisy's gonna rock this 80s quiz. I don't know, Daisy. Somebody might be giving you a run for your money. I'm gonna leave the leaderboard up. I don't know if you guys have a split screen or can see, but as soon as you're done with your quiz, you can pop back over and see the leaderboard if you want to. I'm gonna go ahead and start this quiz. And remember, quizzes is free. All of the things I'm showing you today are free. I only use free tools in my classroom. And we're gonna go ahead and start this quiz. Oh boy. So you probably can't see the leaderboard. I'm going to turn my music off because you probably have your own music, but it looks like Emma is in the lead with 950 points. Ooh, Chris just took over. Abby's in second. Sandy's in third. We have, oh, Daisy's climbing to the top here. The faster you answer, and with a correct answer will get you more points. You can also level up while you play. And even if you're in like second, third, or fourth place, you might actually be in first when the game is over. We're doing pretty good. We're at about an 85% accuracy rate for our whole class. Ooh, a 90% accuracy rate. You are crushing this. We're still waiting for a few people to finish. Looks good. Oh, people are sliding their way up to the top here. All right, it looks like we're pretty close to done here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. But you as the teacher, you can actually go in if you want to and look at all the analytics for your students. It also emails you their scores, which ones they got wrong. Like for example, I'm going to pick on Daisy because she was bragging in the chat box. If I go to my, hold on, let me move my chat back down here. I'm going to end the game real quick. And as a teacher, it's going to give me all the information about which answers were correct, which answers were wrong. And then I can actually send this quiz to my students' parents if I want them to see their results. I don't actually use a lot of the features inside of here like that because I have it linked to Google Classroom, and it will put that, we can put that quiz score in Google Classroom. But you can see there are also lots of analytics, and you can mess around in here to see how that works. So, anyone have any questions so far? Ernest goes to camp threw me off. Cool. I'm gonna do one more quiz game, and then I'm gonna let you guys just take a couple minutes if you need to get up and get a drink or go to the bathroom, and then we'll jump back in again. Okay? So I'm gonna move on to Quizlet. Has anyone used Quizlet? If you have, maybe just stick something in the chat or give me a hand raise if you've used Quizlet in your classroom. This is the one that I'm going to try. Well, no, actually, we probably won't use breakout rooms. We'll do it individually again. Okay, so I'm going to take you to Quizlet. My favorite game in Quizlet is Quizlet Live, but it's something that you kind of have to play inside the classroom or in a breakout room. And I don't think we have you guys divided up into certain breakout rooms. And this Quizlet Live is going to like send you to group you randomly, and so I don't think the breakout room is going to work in this instance. But I'm going to jump over to Quizlet. Okay. And I'm going to play Quizlet live with you, but this is a new feature that you can play with individuals. My favorite way is to play with teams, and I can't do that with you today, but what it does is it randomly puts you into teams, and the kids grab their Chromebook and they run over to their team and they sit down together. And when the questions pop up, everybody can read the question, but there are little spots for each person's answers, and only one person in the group will have the right answer. And so you have to wait. If you don't see the correct answer in yours, you have to kind of nudge over to your neighbor and say, hey, do you have it? It's this, or they can work together. I've also seen teachers who separate kids so nobody can talk to each other, but they have to take the quiz together and only answer the ones that they have the answers to. So if we play this individually and you guys like it and you want to try to play in teams, I'll totally play with you so you can see what it's like. It's just you won't be grouped together. You're going to be playing remotely in teams. So I'm not sure how effective it will be, but we could try it. I'm going to go ahead and check individuals. So we're going to try an individual game. And I just found this quiz out there. I didn't create this quiz, okay? So you're going to go to quizlet.live and you're going to put in 405-687. So let's put in, I'm going to put it in the chat for you, 687.
I've already done that. Don't worry about it.
Oh, whoops, you're on it.
Now I got it twice.
Quizlet.live. And so then I'm going to start to see people popping in right here on my screen. And this, we'll see how it goes individually. And if everyone's up for it, we'll give it a shot with the group. I think you'll really, really love it. It's my favorite way, and my students would play it for hours if I would let them. And not just my elementary students. When I taught middle school, this was their favorite game. They begged for it. It's just kind of awkward being away and not in one room. So, but I think it'll still be fun. We'll give a few more people a chance to join. Looks like we're all getting in there. Perfect. All right, we got 19 players. We'll give it a couple more, 20, 30 seconds. And then if you miss in on this game, you can always hop in on the next game. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and actually play the music for you when we get going because it's great. Players. Should we give it a couple more seconds, or do you think we're good? We've had a little lull. All right, I say we go. We'll try this way and then we'll do the group. Okay, here we are. Here's our music. We've got everybody. And you're in your own groups right now. So you're going to be playing alone for your animal, whatever your spirit animal is. And here we go. must be a wrong answer in there somewhere. Ooh, Emma! Woo! Hold on, I gotta turn it down. All right, so we're gonna exit this game real quick. That was the individually. And then what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you play in teams, even though we're not together. And we can play, someone give me a vote. Do you want to play the same game again, or do you want me to grab a different game? And then I'm gonna have you go into breakout rooms and chat about this. Does somebody want to give me a vote? Actually, if you play the same game, you'll have a better chance of getting them right. Oh, a different game. Sarah wants a different game. Sarah, do you have a topic? I will search one up. Do you want Disney movies? I know I have one of those. Whatever is on top. All right. Let's go with this guy. 10 terms, Disney movies. We're gonna play live. And we're gonna try teams. We'll be patient. We'll see how this goes. And this time our code is 166520. Ooh, thanks, Sam. And then I was gonna ask if Martha, if still needed help, or if you cannot get into Quizlet at all still. Oh, I keep messaging one person, my thing keeps defaulting. From your phone, that should work. Actually, if you go to Quizlet.live on your phone, it should work. I've not played Teams before on your phone, but I imagine that it would work just fine. Cool. We got 21 players, 22. And give it another 15, 20 seconds. All right, we're gonna do it. Here we go. So here are your teams. Now I know you're not together and you can't run sit by each other, but when I start the game, you are going to get every single question on your device. However, you will not have every single answer. So only answer if you have the right answer, because your teammates will be answering the other questions that you don't have the answer for. So here we go. Good job. Looks like the dolphins are out in the lead. Oh, tied up with zebras and sharks. Ooh. Almost there. Ooh, dolphins are crushing it. Woo! Go Dolphins! I'm gonna exit that game. You get your little victory there. And I'm gonna hop actually back over to the slide deck. So Quizlet. So here's what I'd like to do. And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for just a second. And I wanna jump back in with you. And I'm probably gonna need some help from Angel or Sam on this one. And what I'd like you to do is I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys into some breakout rooms. And I'm gonna have you just visit really briefly, because there's 13 of us, so maybe we could do like 2 or 3 rooms. And just put them in randomly, and I'll hop into each room. And I just wanted you guys to kind of visit about what we've talked about so far with the polling and with the quiz games and the Jamboard, and how you feel about it, and if you think you could use it in your classroom, and kind of how it's going for you so far. Just
Okay.
for about 2 or 3 minutes, real short.
Perfect. You want a couple rooms, just 2 or 3?
Yeah, actually, we only have 13 people still on, so we could probably get away with 2 rooms, and then I can go into both of them, and like, you could set it for 5 minutes, and then when we're done, we'll just come back if it's a little earlier than that. That way I can get into both rooms if I need.
Okay.
We had some good comments. And one was about first grade. Could first graders do it? And yes, definitely first graders can do it. All you need to do is train a couple kids. And I actually, even when I was teaching 6th grade, this sounds silly, I made these little lanyard that had little things that said either like YouTube helper or Chrome helper or slides helper. And I had kids who were good at different tools. And when it was their time, they got to wear the little lanyard, and they would go around literally helping kids upload to YouTube or helping them do their slide or whatever. I always had about 5 kids going around the room helping when theirs was finished. And so definitely those first graders, you're going to have a couple of really savvy kids, and you're just, once you do it once or twice, they'll be all over it. They could probably set it up for you and run the show, actually. So, and yeah, Abby was talking about how it's nice to have a variety. That's why I like Quizlet Live. I like quizzes when we do individual stuff. Kahoot's fun. They actually ask for Kahoot because I don't do it that much anymore because I feel like it got burned out for a little while. But just to have so many of those options, great. I didn't even make it into the other room. Did anyone bring anything up about whiteboards or games, or does anyone have anything they use in their classroom for quiz games or polling or whiteboards? It must be getting to be afternoon, huh? Why don't we do this? Why don't we take about a 5 to 7 minute break, and everybody can hop up, walk around for a second, grab something to drink, a handful of chocolate or a cup of coffee, and then we can come back and we'll pick up. And I just have a few more tools. I don't want to overwhelm you, and I only want to keep you on till about 2:45 to try to let you get another break in between your next session. So let's just take a short break, and then we'll jump back into the last few things. All right, perfect. Just a couple more things that I was going to go over and share with you. Things that I feel like are really a great way to get feedback from your students in the form of some kind of formative assessment, and also some interactive things, which I feel are really more engaging for the students, obviously. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time because I'd like to show you some interactive documents. Here we go, perfect. We'll pull this up. All right, then I'm gonna minimize over here. And I'm gonna do that thing with the chat again. I'm learning so much today about Zoom. There we go. Cool. Okay, so actually, I should have asked in the chat, what LMS is your school using? Like, is everyone using Google Classroom? Or, because I was going to share a Google Classroom tool that I like to use. And I just wanted to see how many people are actually using Google Classroom. So can you just throw in the chat if you're using Google Classroom? Just maybe type in there so I can see. Okay, perfect, perfect. Yay. Well, there's a handful of you at least. So let's go ahead and look at this feature in Classroom. And there's lots of different ways, obviously, that you can integrate tools into Google Classroom. So this tool that I have today is basically right inside your Google Classroom. It is a built-in way to get a formative assessment from your students. And this is not the traditional way of using it, so I don't want you to write it off just yet. I'm going to jump into Google Classroom with you and show you what it looks like. I'm going to hop in my third grade classroom that I used previously. And inside of classwork, there's a button, the create button. And if you choose question, okay, there's some really, really, really cool features inside of this question. So you can actually have students chat with each other inside of here, or you can have them just answer to you. So inside of here, I would type in my question for the students, like explain light years to me. You know, what are they? How do we use them? Whatever you want to put in here. You can assign your points. You can assign it to different classes. You can put it at however many classes you have, you can assign to those classes. I only have one class in here right now. You can pick certain students if you want to. You don't have to assign it to everyone. You can differentiate. Maybe you have questions for some of those students you're trying to push to another level, and maybe something that will kind of support those ones that maybe need a little bit of help. You can differentiate, and they won't be able to see what the other students see, only what's in their classroom. The part that's important is down here. For this activity, I choose that students can reply to each other. If I don't want them to reply to each other and I only want them to reply to me, then I'm going to unclick that box. But I want them to be able to reply to each other. And then I actually want them to be able to edit their answer, because you know how it is when you type something in and you hit enter and you see your comment go and you see a typo or you see something you didn't want to see there. It's important to be able to edit those answers. Okay, so this is how you would set it up for your students inside Classroom. I'm going to jump over to an archived class from a long time ago, actually. And I'm going to show you on the student side, well, I'm in the teacher side, what it looks like for these students. I have an assignment that I save sometimes for when I have guest teachers, if I need to be gone. So when I have a guest teacher, I might throw up a CNN in my social studies class when I was teaching 6th grade. Basically, they have to grab their headphones, sit down with their Chromebook, and they need to choose a CNN video, the live news from the last 2 weeks, because we don't do it very often. We don't watch it every single day like some classes do. So they have to choose one from the last couple of weeks. They need to watch it. And then inside of where they answer this question, okay, I'm going to hop in here. They need to write down what they saw, how they feel about it. Was it interesting? Was it meaningful? How does it affect them? It's kind of like current events. And then after they submit theirs, they need to go back and comment on as many other students as they can. Okay. I told them that I'm going to be looking for punctuation, spelling, complete thoughts. I don't want them to say, oh, this is cool, or wow, that's nice, or I can't believe it. You know, they need to be specific about this. So what it looks like on their end is they would answer the question. These are the students' answers to the questions. And I'm kind of going fast because technically I'm not supposed to have all these names out here. But you'll notice they have replies. So this student has 7 replies. 7 kids read their paragraph about which episode she watched. This one has 4 replies. Okay, so basically the students were visiting with each other after they had watched the CNN 10. And then they were in there typing the whole time. They typed up their synopsis, then they answered everybody else. And they said, oh, you know, I can't believe there were so many refugees. I don't know how they survived, you know, and they would go on and on about whatever it was that they watched. But the room, when I did it the first time, was absolutely silent. And I thought, oh man, what's going on here? Are they engaged? I walk around the room, I check it out. They're all going to town. And so afterwards I asked the class and I said, what is it? What worked about this? Can you help me out here? Because it actually was something I did on the spur of the moment because my lesson plan wasn't going to work out. So I just threw it in Google Classroom under an answer a question, and they were hooked the whole time. And so they said, well, Miss Horsens, it's like having a group discussion with the whole entire class, except we're all talking at the same time. So you can use this to facilitate group discussions. You can use this to cull information from them. This is a really powerful tool right inside of Google Classroom, this ask a question. You can also ask a multiple choice question. It doesn't have to be a short answer question. And I can't remember what the other type of, hold on, let me jump in here. Oh, it's just multiple choice or short answer. So you could put your multiple choice in there. So that is a really powerful tool inside of Google Classroom. I am going to jump out of here for 1 second because I want to ask a question, and I'm looking for all of you. Where are you? Where's my screen? Oh, I have to stop sharing really quick. Has anyone used that feature in Google Classroom? And if you have, oh, no one has. Okay, well, that answers my question. I was going to have you share with us. I was wondering if Mike has any more popsicles for anyone, because it looks really good. I was wondering if anyone had, and then I was going to have if anyone wanted to share any of their examples, but I guess not. So that's a new feature for you inside Google Classroom. And you can also use it for exit tickets. I mean, there's so many ways you can use that tool. It's amazing. So let me hop back in here. I'll share my screen one more time. I don't need to be, there we go. Perfect. Share. And I'm going to jump back over here to Google Forms. Oh, I should have asked you first if you'd already used Forms before I go into much detail about that. Let me check the chat. Have you used Forms? Because I don't want to go. I have a quick little form for you to do, and then I was going to show you the analytics and how it works. Is that okay? Perfect. Let's do this then. I can't actually assign it to you inside of Google Classroom because we can't join each other's classrooms outside of our domains, but I can show you where you do it at inside of Google Classroom. Let me, first of all, show you that because that was a great question. When I'm in my classroom, okay, and if you don't have your form created already, you can create it right inside Google Classroom. So if you go to your Create button under your Classwork tab, you can create a quiz assignment. And when you create a quiz assignment, it's automatically going to create a form for you. So you can create the assignments for the students right inside Google Classroom. The other really cool thing is down here on the left corner, there's a grade importing switch. If you have this switch clicked, you can then import all their scores from that form and it will show up in your gradebook in Google Classroom. So that's a pretty powerful tool and a time saver. So I would definitely have that clicked if you're giving them a quiz or anything that you want to bring their score over into Google Classroom. So I'm actually not going to create a quiz from right here. Oh, the one other thing I need to tell you is that if you have your quiz inside Google Classroom, you cannot put any other links in here if you want it to be graded. If you wanted to have them watch a video and then answer a short quiz about it or a form, then I would put the link to the video in your instructions actually, and just paste it in there, and they could watch it and then go here. Because if you add any other links, and this is just some kind of weird thing, you can't have it do grade importing. So that's something good to know, because that would be frustrating if you tried to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back to my presentation really fast, because I have a Google form for you to fill out, and then I'm going to show you the back side of it. Okay. So let me do this. I'm going to copy the link really quick, and I'm going to stick it in the chat, because I'm getting better at that. Here we go. And let's see if that works for you. So if you can jump over to the Google form, it's really, really short. It only has a couple questions. I'm going to walk you through the creation side and then the analytics side real quick, and it won't take very long. So jump into that form, and I'm going to go over here live. This is what all of you can see right now. It's just the form.
It looks like you need to give permission to access that.
What? Again? I thought I checked all of those. Okay, hold on a second. Oops, let me move this. How did that get checked? There we go. Hold on. I got it. Let's try again. If you hit refresh, tell me if you can get in this time. I might have to check.
Yep, we're all good.
Okay, perfect. Again, teacher fail. It's not the first time I've run into that. Thank goodness everyone is so patient. Okay, yep, just hit refresh and then go through quickly, and I'll do it really quick so we have a couple more responses in here. And oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm in edit. I need to be in preview. There we go. I'm gonna hop back into I have things everywhere. Okay. We have 17 responses so far. So I'm on the back end of the form, so I'm going to show you from my screen what this looks like. So when I came into Google Forms and created this form, up here in the settings is where you choose what kind of a form it's going to be. For some reason, I had it clicked that it was for my school, but I just changed that. So you can limit this so students can only take this once. You can also collect their email addresses. If you do this inside of Google Classroom, you do not need to worry about any of these settings, okay? You can also make it so people can edit when they're done. Presentation, you can have it switch. If it's a real true test or quiz, you can have it shuffle the order of the questions. And here's where you decide under quizzes whether you make it a quiz or not, and how you want them to see their correct answers or incorrect answers. You can have them get it right away when they're done, or you can wait until you release their scores. That's the quizzes side of forms. Now, up here at the top, I have questions and I have responses. So when you are the creator or the owner of the form, you can go in to look at the responses. So right now I'm looking at a summary of all of the responses. If I wanted to look at them by question, I could look at everyone's answers by question, or I could look at each person individually. This is the first person's form. This is the second person's form. So you could see, you can scroll through them as individuals. I'm just going to look at the summary for you real quick. So I'm looking at all of the insights. It looks like pretty much everybody got a 5 out of 5. There was only one question that had a score on it, actually. And here you can see where everyone put in their name, then they decide what month it is. I clicked on there just so we would have some data that would be wrong. And it looks like chocolate is the most favorite ice cream, and quizzes is one of the best tricks so far today. So that's the backside, the analytics of a form. You can also put this information right into a spreadsheet by clicking on this little green spreadsheet here. And I'm going to do it just to show you real briefly. Create a new spreadsheet, because you can create as many new ones as you want and delete the old ones, or you can keep the same one. But this would be all this exact same information, excuse me, but in a spreadsheet. So the really cool things about forms is that you can collect this data from parents, students, from anyone, and it's going to automatically give you a spreadsheet. And you're going to get just the information that you want. Okay. I'm not going to go really into the creation of forms. There are lots and lots of videos online about how to create Google Forms, and they're very good videos. So I would just look them up on YouTube. But an amazing tool again. Do we have any questions for anybody before I move on? Are we good? Still good. Okay. Awesome. So let's look at some interactive assessments, and let's look at some choices. So we have here Hyperdocs, choice boards, and learning menus. They're really kind of all the same thing, but these buzzwords you're going to hear thrown at you in the education world. If you have this slide deck, all of these are clickable. You can click on them. So the first one I'm going to take you to is a doc. It's created in Google Docs. Okay. The second one is also a doc, and the third one was created in Google Drawing. You can also create these in Google Slides. You can create them in any of the applications. So this is a Hyperdoc that I used with my 6th graders. All it is a Google Doc that has a border, a background color. You can actually, I didn't know if you know that, but you can change the background color of a Google Doc. You can type in white, you can type in black, anything you want. This is just a table. Okay, but inside of here, I have a whole bunch of different choices for assignments. Now, you can use these while you're in the classroom with the students. You can use them while they're with a guest teacher. You could use them when you're working online. Basically, when I created this one, because all of them are different, I said it doesn't matter what order you do these in. You can complete all the parts of the game board, and then the last part in the center is the part you save to do at the very end. And this was the culminating part where they would leave me a video, and then I had a student teacher and she had them do a flip grid, which turned out awesome. This is actually about 3 or 4 years old, this choice board, but it's a really good example. So students could click on here and they could read the pages out of their book. They could watch these videos. They really get to just complete this assignment however they want, and they only get a view only copy, so they can't mess it up. There were some other games to play and some interactive activities. So this is something you could create with your standards in mind, knowing that students can work their way through. Some kids will do the writing first, some will do the videos first, you know, some will play the games, some will play the games like 3 or 4 times. But this is how you could set this up, and each of these is a link. So you would just create it like you would create a link in any document or email or however it's just a little image with a link, and it takes them to all these different places. So that is an example of a Hyperdoc. And you guys have access to these. I would also really highly recommend that you visit, this is linked here, visit Hyperdocs. Go here and make an account. It's free. And there's a whole library of ones that are already made that you can borrow and make a copy and modify it and turn it into your own Hyperdoc. Okay, or use it if it works. If it looks good to you, you can use ones that are already made. This is actually part of something that's a teacher pay or teachers give teachers. It's nothing paid, it's all free. They actually call it teacher give teacher. So you would make an account. I believe I already have an account here. I can show you what it looks like. But you can look for, we don't want the courses, we want templates and Hyperdocs. So you can get all kinds of samples. They give you samples here. They also have a big library of them. And they just redid their website, it looks like. So I'm not exactly sure where those would be, but you would be able to find them. So samples for every subject, all of these really amazing places. So I would definitely take time to look into that. You can even do Hyperdocs with real young kids. They actually work awesome because you can create that document and all they need to do is click to watch their video or click to play a game or whatever you have set up for them. So a choice board, a choice menu is a little bit different, but still gives them choice, and they'll have to turn in certain assignments to you. For example, this choice menu came from Casey Bell. She's on the internet. She has a blog and she does a lot of stuff with Google. She's pretty much primarily Google. She might be a little Microsoft now, but this would be a tic-tac-toe one. So with a tic-tac-toe choice menu, you create all of the options. The one in the center is the one you want every single student to do. This is the one that isn't a choice. This is the teacher's choice. But other than that, you can do any of the ones around here in order to create a tic-tac-toe. So then when you are the teacher, when you create this, you line up and say, well, of course you don't want them doing this is number 2 and number 4 and number 5, because maybe 2 and 4 are similar assignments or something. So you would really set it up so that they could choose in that tic-tac-toe, and you want to make sure you get exactly what you need from them. So, and you can make copies of all of these and mess around with them and create them to be your own. Please feel free. The last one is actually made in Google Drawing. And I would normally use slides for this now. The first one I did as a doc a long time ago, but now I use slides mostly. This particular one is one that you would give every kid a copy in Google Classroom. And this is actually for teachers. I use this in a class that I teach teachers about Google Classroom. And what they would do is they would get to do in a tic-tac-toe, whatever way they want, or this one you can grab the X and move it. So when you're actually done with the assignment, you can tic-tac-toe it, and then you'll know that you're done. So this one's a little bit different because then you would give each kid a copy or each teacher a copy, and then they would close out their board after they've completed these assignments. Does anyone, do you still need permission for all of these, or are we still doing okay? Okay, nothing. Looks like we're probably okay. So far, no questions. Have you used, has anyone used Hyperdocs or choice boards in their classroom?
It looks like there's a question real quick.
Yeah.
Can you see the student boards as
They're completing them? If you assign the board in Google Classroom, okay, and usually what I do, this one doesn't have any links on it. Usually I would have links in there for them, but if you assign it from Google Classroom, then I would request that you, like if someone makes a grading quiz, I would ask them to put the link in Google Classroom. When they turn the choice board in, the instructions in Google Classroom say, turn in your choice board with your choices, so what you've X'd off, and then attach the assignments that you did. So the students would then go ahead and attach their form, their video, their writing, whatever the choices were, they would attach all of those with the choice board and turn them in. And I know it seems like a lot, and in the beginning it would be a little overwhelming at first, but slowly training them, and they'll pick it up very quickly, and it's very easy to add assignments in Google Classroom. Especially if you're teaching 5th grade and above, these choice boards, they should be able to attach their own work in Google Classroom. I've done choice boards with spelling. Hold on, I gotta slide this over because I can't see it very well, but not in Google Classroom. Yeah, so it actually does work well in Classroom, just like it would. It's just transitioning students to do it online versus in front of them on a piece of paper. So I think that if you've used them in class, they'll probably would understand them in Google Classroom, quite honestly. Thanks, Emma. Thanks for sharing. So I'm going to jump back really quick because it's 2:45 and there's just, I'm going to go ahead and just give you one more little tidbit that is one of my very, very favorite things. And then I'm going to let you go. For those of you that are Google Chromies, if you want students to record themselves, oh, we got one more question and I'll come right back to you. If we want students to record themselves, there is an app called, it's not even an app, it's just a website called Vocaroo. And I'm going to take you there because there's a link in here. So go ahead if you have this. Vocaroo is so simple. All it is records your voice and then boom, saves it in your Google Drive to the account that you're logged into. Okay, so if I want to record my voice, I'm going to hit the red button, it's going to record it, and then I'm going to approve it, and it's going to save it right in my Google Drive, which is awesome for students because they can't save and move and find things. So once you've recorded something in and it's saved in your Google Drive, you can then insert that voice recording right into a slide deck. So if your students are doing work and they need to give you some audio response, they can record it and stick it in their Google slide. Or you as the teacher can go ahead and leave them voice instructions on a Google slide. But for the sake of this session, it was more for you to capture their voice and they can turn that into you, that audio clip. It works awesome. It's super easy. And Brandy had a question. Oh, the Hyperdocs they're very useful. Yep, you should be able to make a copy of any of them. And if you start looking stuff up, you'll find things that people have just put out there all over the web and you can grab them. And I seriously would recommend when you're starting out, borrow, beg, just take whatever you can get and make it your own. And then when you have more time, you can start really spending time to make some cool ones. But when you're just starting out, let someone else do the work for you and you can modify it to work for you. So, and I did have like a little closing form, but you don't need to do that. That was just another form. I'm jumping back into my presentation. I'm going to leave it at that. If you are interested, there are some people that I follow very closely. Eric Kurtz is a really amazing instructor for Google. He's an innovator and a trainer, and he has an awesome blog. There's a link to it here. Richard Byrne is also one of my favorites. He's very knowledgeable and very easy to understand and has great examples. Matt Miller and Casey Bell have a podcast about Google if you're interested in listening to any of those and how you can integrate it in your classroom. So with that, I am going to jump out of here really quick and stop sharing. And I'm going back to my meeting and see if anyone has any questions before we go. I don't see any. Thanks for sticking in there today. Sorry about all the glitches in the beginning. Hopefully you came out with a few materials that you can use and some new things for your classroom this fall. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. I'll even put my email in here. This is my personal email that I use when I'm training and stuff. So if you want to email me at horsensd@gmail.com, if you have a question, the only thing I say is put in there, hi, this is, and your name, and then put, I was at August Institute, so I can remember which sessions and what I was doing. And then I'll be happy to answer any questions, or if you get stuck somewhere, I might be able to walk you through on something. So feel free to do that. All right. If nobody has any questions, I'll let you head out and grab another popsicle or a treat and then hit your next session. So thanks for coming.